Sim racing without a screen sounds like the ultimate freedom, right? Because you just turn on your wheel, you sit down, and you just go sim racing. There's no faffing about, it's free, you can sim race anywhere then. And is it possible? Well, as of now, yes, it is possible because I've been doing it. I've been sim racing without a screen with this product in this video, and I want to start by saying my expectations were massively exceeded. I was very impressed by this. Now, not everything worked, some areas didn't work for this product, but a lot of it did work out of the box, and that impressed me because I was expecting a lot of jankiness, a lot of updating software, firmware, having to use specialist bits. Look, I review a lot of VR headsets, and I spend a lot of time in firmware and calibrating and updating stuff, and I didn't have that experience here. Did I get lucky? Yes, I think the particular way that I went through things meant that I got a good experience. I could have also got a bad experience. So we're going to get into this video. I just want to start by saying I started this YouTube channel by sim racing with no screen, believe it or not. But if you look at the first videos, I was using my PSVR 1 headset as a screen because I didn't have a TV or a monitor. I didn't have much, to be honest with you. The story is a bit of a fairy tale, actually. But I started with sim racing on no screen, so I kind of understand what's going on here. I've also obviously reviewed so many VR headsets, and I review so much technology around sim racing, wheels, wheelbases, pedals, but I want to start getting into the technology that is going to really push sim racing forward. You know I'm all about that on this channel. And if you're watching this video and you don't know what sim racing is, don't worry, I'm going to explain it to you as part of it. So these are the Beast XR glasses from Viture. This is not a paid review. This is not a sponsored review. They haven't paid me any money. They've sent me this review unit. They actually got in contact with me a long time ago. I've just been too busy. But I'm flying out to CES in Las Vegas as I publish this video. And like I said, I'm excited to understand more about this technology. It's important for me to say, I have not really been following or part of the journey of XR. I have not been reviewing the prototypes. I have not been reviewing the janky products. I have not experienced the pain that I've experienced in VR. And I was expecting this to maybe be quite a bit jankier than it is. You take it out the box and you just want to put it on your head. And that's a sign of a great product. It's the same with the Meta camera glasses that I use. Glasses, we all wear sunglasses or glasses or whatever. We all know how glasses work. It's a great form factor. It's a bit like a watch. It's a great form factor. By the way, in the same time I've been producing this review, I also, in an unconnected way, went out and bought a Google Pixel watch. That has been a massive pain to use and set up, and it doesn't want to like interact with stuff, and it's very limited in how I can use it. These glasses were the opposite. So in the glasses case, you get the glasses, and what I'm going to do in this review, by the way, I'm going to show you actually how I experienced these glasses. I think that's quite special and important. I'm going to put a camera through the lens, and I'm going to talk quite a lot about sim racing. I'm going to show you how they work in sim racing. So that's all coming. So I got this cable out. Obviously, I wanted to plug it into something, and I thought the best thing to plug it into would probably be my phone. So I end up plugging into my phone first. That's probably a good first step. If I plugged into other stuff, I might not have had a good first experience. But I plug it into my phone, and I realise, okay, this is the end that goes in the glasses. You know me, I don't always read the manuals and everything. I want to experience something like, I want to see if stuff is foolproof, right? And I put it on my head, and it is unbelievable. Like, this is my genuine first impression of this product. There is a very bright, very clear screen that exists in the world. And I'm going to show you what this screen looks like. I put a camera through the glasses. I'm going to show you the clarity and the light and everything. So my expectations at this point were massively exceeded. The screen was much brighter than I expected. It was much bigger than I expected. And it was much more clear than I expected. However, I want to say it's not a 4K screen, in my opinion. Okay, it's not a 4K screen. It's a clear screen, but I don't know how this product is going to be marketed and reviewed. I just remember with PSVR 2, I said in my review, this is not a 4K experience, it's more blurry. And I was very disappointed and shocked, frankly, when other reviewers said, oh, it's like being in 4K. It wasn't, it was blurry, and I'm very glad that I said that. So when these glasses, it doesn't feel like 4K, but it feels very, very, very clear. I think it's like a 1080p experience, but it feels super clear. It doesn't feel blurry at all. Feels like there might be a little bit of like, and I don't know whether this is the case or not, but my experience was similar to like maybe some kind of upscaling. And normally I don't like upscaling. I don't like using FSR. I don't like using DLSS. But when you have a product this small and neat, if it was like, oh, okay, that's cool that they're using technology to enable me to get such a clear picture in such a small form factor. So yeah, connecting it to my phone was a good start. It was idiot proof. You just connect it, you screen mirror, and it shows what you're seeing on your phone. So here, this is TikTok. This is my TikTok here. And this is hopefully going to show you some of the clarity and the brightness. And I'm going to talk about the modes as well of this thing, because there's 3 different modes. And I think one of them is much better for sim racing, for example, and I think consuming content than the other 2. So my phone's in vertical mode. So you can see it's showing me in vertical. If I go landscape, it goes landscape. And it's a very smooth, it's 60 FPS experience, it feels like to me. 1080p, very clear as well. All the text on my phone was clear, and it was just a nice experience. But it's not 4K. I want to make that clear. Okay, so there's different ways you can use these glasses. The way I would recommend you use them is you use it in the pinning mode, which was super intuitive to use. If you've used VR headsets, it's very similar in terms of like where you center the image. So you basically center the image, it pins it, and then you can move your head around and the image stays there. So you can look around something else in your room, come back, and the image is there. If you, over time, that image starts that image will have moved. It doesn't move as you're looking at it, but over like 10 minutes, the image will be in a slightly different position. So it's not absolutely locked in. That's my experience of basically every VR headset, where every so often you need to recenter it. These ones I need to recenter more than most VR headsets, I would say, but it generally stays in the area, and it's not like it moves while you're looking at it. So that's the pin mode. This mode we've got here is like a follow mode, I think, where it as you move around, the image kind of moves around as well and follows it. This one here, I think, is the direct mode, the 3rd mode, where it stays in the middle of your screen. Your glasses, what do I call it? Your lenses. It is, for me, that's not the best mode because it's kind of a bit claustrophobic. It's always in the way. For me, the best mode by far is the pinning. So you can see here, I pinned it. You can move the glasses around, and the image is always there. Now, when I review products, I often do it on a very strict timescale. I say this to brands, because this is not my full-time job, by the way. This is just, I review sim racing stuff as a hobby. I'm not charging for this review, so I don't really make money from it. I just do it out of passion. And normally I have to be very strict in like how I review stuff. However, this product, I kind of broke some rules because I was sitting around like meant to be editing other videos, and I just had these glasses on the table, and I just ended up using them more and more because they're so nice to put on, their glasses, and also it's very easy to pin a screen somewhere. So I'm meant to be editing a video here, but I put the glasses on, and this is going to be a game changer for everything. And I just pinned some American football by the side of me. I don't even really like American football, but it was late at night in the UK, and I thought I'll just have some American football on the side, so I pinned it there. The sound was very natural through my phone. We'll come on to sound later. And it was great. All right, now let's start to move into the sim racing, right? You want to see it.
Absolutely insane.
So there's a little new product you can see on my desk here. It's this little box on my right-hand side with like 4 orange icons. This is a dock they also sent me. I'm not sure what the price is of the dock. I'll try and put links in the description. I'll try and put affiliate links if I've got them, by the way. But that dock allows you to connect a HDMI in. So I put a HDMI cable from my motherboard, not even my GPU, from my motherboard into the dock and connected my glass to the dock. And obviously, you know what happened, right? I just got another window on my PC. It was like having another monitor. And I pinned it, and I had this other monitor. It's big, it's bright, it's clear. You can put anything you want on it.
Listen to this.
But let's start getting to issues. The sound felt like chiptune or like compressed. Now, you know, in this video, it might sound kind of cool. But let me tell you, it's really, really, really annoying, okay? That might be because I need to update some firmware or something like that, or change audio settings, but I'm trying to do this in a foolproof way, and it didn't work. So what I did on my PC is I just put on my headphones that I use normally. So this is a workaround. This is not the glasses working as they should, but at least it's a workaround. I can just put my headphones on, and I've got probably a better audio experience. Now, we are going to come back to audio. We're not going to give the Beast XR glasses a free pass here because that audio is important and I need to work out what's going on because maybe some people won't have headphones or you connect to devices where you can't do this. But generally, for the visuals, generally pain-free. Like this little dock, it has a battery in it, by the way, so it's not even powering anything. And now we can go sim racing. So I am sim racing now on these glasses. It's working exactly how you expect. I just put ASETEK Corsa Rally. I put it on that inverted commas monitor. Again, I don't know what I call it. And I'm going racing. It feels like 1080p 60. It's very bright, which is great for this snow stage. I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's HDR or not. I wouldn't say it's HDR, but it feels, it may be or may not, I'm not sure, but it feels very, very, very bright, very crisp. And for something like Rally, absolutely fine. The biggest issue for me was my brakes because I'm using my THRUSTMASTER brakes on carpet and I really struggle with them. I then got a controller out and you can see I'm looking at the wall. There is no monitor here. I'm looking at the wall through these glasses and I am playing ASETEK Corsa Rally on a controller in a very fuss-free way. Like, this is simpler than some monitors even. In some ways it's simpler than a monitor because it's just bigger, it's pinned there. It's just, I can't explain it. Like and again, this is not like a sponsored video or anything like that. It's just a review of this review unit, but this is exceeding my expectations for sure at this moment in time. So I'm going around ASETEK Corsa Rally, having a great time, not really noticing any latency, but we'll go into more like a proper sim, let's say, or I don't know, like that's controversial. We're going to go into iRacing. And now I'm sat on my normal iRacing rig. You can see above my hand on the right hand side, that's the monitor I normally use. I normally use that 4K monitor, and I've swung it out the way, and I'm now looking at a wall. There is nothing in front of me, and I'm using the glasses, and I'm driving. I do think there's a bit of latency. I think some people might be using TVs or whatever that have similar latency potentially, but there's definitely more latency than when I'm using gaming mode on my gaming monitors. Because I'm a nerd. I have this sim racing tech YouTube channel. I set up my stuff, I calibrate it, so I make sure I run with like minimal latency. And you've got to remember this is also coming through the HDMI cable through my motherboard because I didn't want to reconnect everything. I just wanted to plug and play. But it works, and I can drive. And it's fuss-free. Like I just turned on the wheelbase, I put the glasses on, I center the screen, and I'm racing. And yeah, every so often I'll probably need to recenter the screen, but that's no different than for me if I was in VR to recenter the headset. Now, good to compare it with VR. You don't get depth perception. It's not, so there is a 3D mode in the glasses. However, when I tried this on my phone and my PC, I couldn't get it working. Again, I might need to update firmware or something. There is a 3D mode, so I'm going to reserve judgment on 3D. There's also an ultra-wide mode, but the way I'm playing it in this 1080p 60, for me was basically absolutely, it's going to be absolutely fine for open world games, anything like that. If you want to do competitive, really competitive racing, you probably want to be on a monitor for that latency. So for me, I was detecting more latency here, but you can see it's absolutely, it's 100% drivable. Right, we're going to go on to PlayStation now. Obviously, I was like, at this point, I'm on a roll, right? Everything I'm doing just basically seems to be working. I'm having way more fun reviewing this product than I thought, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a bit of a pain to get it working, but it's just working. So what I've done here is I've taken the dock, you can see. I've plugged my PlayStation, I've taken the cable out of my TV. I've plugged it into the dock. I'm plugging in my FANATEC wheelbase. And I've got the glasses there plugged in. So I'm going to put the glass in. Now this is where we have... This is where the kind of like fuss-free nature generally ends. I kind of hit an issue here that I can't really fix. By the way, if you enjoy these honest reviews, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to share this video as well. I'd really appreciate it. So we put the glasses on. I'm not even sure I'm expecting it to work, but it does work. And by the way, I'm going to reserve judgment there. I can see what I'm doing, as you can see. The wheel is turning on, it's doing its thing. But there's some issue with the screen here for me. It's like the screen is like flickering a bit essentially. It's not a stable image. So I'm checking what I can do here. And also the sound. the sound is giving me that chiptune esque like compressed thing that I had on my PC. But here it would be a bit more of a pain to actually it wouldn't be that much of a pain probably to put headphones on, but it's not something I can literally just put on my head right now. I'd need to add another cable or something. And again, I think the audio should work through the through the glasses. So it makes me think that maybe something firmware or something to improve. I'll follow up with them. But here's the proof. Like in Gran Turismo, like I can drive, and again, this technically works. It looks absolutely perfect on the image you're seeing right now on YouTube. I'm going to take that screen away just to prove that, like, I am not using a screen. I'm not Houdiniing this. This is actually just all through the glasses. Lest we forget, it feels like magic. But it technically works, but really in my glasses, for me, it's not really working right now. The image is not stable enough. So I go and try and update the glasses through my phone. It says they're updated. I try and update the dock as well in case somebody did the dock. I can't update it through my PC because my PC doesn't have the right ports. I need to do it on laptop, which is kind of something to bear in mind because I'm very experienced with reviewing hardware on PlayStation, where sometimes manufacturers will be like, oh, just update it on PC. And I'm like, oh, people have a PlayStation because they don't have a PC, because that's how they want to roll. So we'll try and fix that if you want to see more content on this. I'll try and pick it up with Viture as well. But generally, this has been absolutely fantastic and a game changer. Here's some things I would like. I would like a fully transparent mode on the glasses, because even if they might look stupid that way, they won't look as cool as as sunglasses. I would totally wear these and just have an extra screen around me all the time. Like I would be working and just have another screen. Like honestly, that would be fantastic for me. Also, bear in mind that there is a cable here. Now, for me, this is a neat factor. There's no faffing about with battery. As far as I can tell, there's no battery in the glasses. You just plug them in and you don't worry about battery. And it's a USB-C and it's very nice and light. And you can. Some people might go, oh, there's a, they should be wireless. But for me, the fact you can just plug it in, bang, bang, mirror, and it's done, for me is a pro. But I can obviously see in the future these being wireless, but then you're going to need to have batteries. Like my Meta glasses have batteries in them, but they run out quite quickly when you're recording. So my expectations on this product have been exceeded. You can sim race on this without a wheel. I would say on PC, right now I can use this, and I genuinely may actually use this for sim racing on PC, because in my particular use case, it might make reviewing hardware potentially easier. I can have more rigs or stuff. I don't have to worry about where a monitor is, which is kind of crazy. Also for streaming, it could be insane for streaming because I can have chat up in my glasses. Like there's so many possibilities with these glasses. I'm kind of new into this XR space, and I'm sure the previous versions would have had a lot more issues, but I feel like I kind of jumped in here at the right point, and I definitely want to review a lot more of these. I want to see more of what Viture's doing. I want to review more from the competition as well, because I do think this is a future. This is a future of sim racing. VR is definitely a future of sim racing, as they're pushing more like ultimate clarity, the depth perception. I'm reviewing a PIMAX headset at the moment that I've got 3 different optical engines for. So it's very, very, very kind of like niche, and you've got to be an expert at it. This feels like almost like an opposite track. They're just glasses. You put them on your head. You know how they work. You plug them in stuff and you kind of see if it works or not. So fingers crossed I can get it working on PlayStation. It's been really fun to do this review. I will be in CES as this video goes live. So anything you want me to see in CES, let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.